this doesn't take forever. Okay, so this is going to be our second, like part 2 to the lies that we tell ourselves. And this will be the final one. I'm just trying to get my notes pulled up and I have to balance it on the screen so I can see it. Okay, I think I can see that. So this has been out of my personal development book that I've been reading. And it's funny, I've heard this book before, but I've never read it. And it's actually been really good. And honestly, I can't get this right. It's honestly really good. It would be really good for beginner coaches. You guys, I cannot multitask. I can't see everybody and see my notes. Oh, there. Okay, figured it out. Okay, I should have not started recording yet. Okay, so I am going to go through this. And I was just saying, if you have any thoughts, questions, whatever, put them in the chat and I'll check it at the end. And this potentially, well, I always say that. Oh, hi, Ashley. Could be a little bit shorter than the last one. There's only maybe 5 more. I guess that's about how many we did last time. So lies, these are lies that we often tell ourselves or believe without even realizing it. That in this book, she's just calling BS on it all because they're just lies and they're literally nonsense. And she, the author, I don't know, I just love this section so much because there's so many of them that I could relate to now and as a newer coach and all throughout the journey. So, so if you haven't listened to part 1 or you weren't here, you can go back. That's on YouTube, or it's in the group and whatever. So this is just a continuation of that. So lie number 7 is this should be easier, like working our business, whatever. And so she said, don't confuse simple with easy. And I've totally done this because I do think that, you know, there are a lot of like MLM, like top people, whatever, who are like, this business isn't hard. Anybody can do it, blah, 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 which is true. But I think when they word it that way, it's like selling it to us like it's just going to be a breeze. Like, so it's simple, like the tasks that we have to do every day, like sending new conversations and sending out invites. The actual task is simple. Like it doesn't take a ton of like smarts. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like I'm tired too. It's way earlier here, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy or feel easy, right? And that kind of comes with like that day-to-day, the consistency. Like it is not easy to get up at 4 a.m. and work my business right now while I have to do homeschool. But the tasks are simple, and so I don't have to overcomplicate it. So when we say this should be easier, or we're saying like this is hard, we don't want to confuse those words, and we don't need to overcomplicate it either. And she made a good point. She said, what other incredibly rewarding endeavors are easy? Like, well, maybe depending on your marriage. These were her examples. Like marriage, parenthood, you know, getting an advanced degree in college, running a marathon, getting abs, staying in shape. You can add in other ideas. Those aren't easy. They're all hard work, but the actual, you know, steps to get there are simple, right? Well, maybe not with kids, but like running a marathon, or like it's not like a complicated science. You have to stay consistent, you have to train, and you have to do these certain things, right? So it's simple, but it's not easy. It's going to be hard, but it's also going to be so rewarding when you get there, or you make it, or whatever. And she also said, like, it's far easier, like multi-level marketing, what we're doing coaching is still way easier than if we were to go open a brick and mortar business and like spend, you know, all like, well, I don't even want to say my life savings because that's not very much, but like spending thousands of dollars to open like a real storefront, you know? So this is easier than that, but it's still not easy. We have to stop complaining and griping and just work harder and smarter. So deal with it. If this is something that you want to work for, whatever your goal is, like just own like what it's going to take and then do it. So she put a quote from Mark Cuban. I don't know if you know who he is. He's on Shark Tank. That's the only way I know him. Work like there is someone working 24 hours a day to take it away from you. And I really liked that because even this morning, there are days that like we're not going to feel like it. It's just like our workout. Like we don't always feel motivated and we don't always want to work the business and do our power hour, you know? And I felt like that this morning. And but if we look at it like it is a gift and a blessing that we have this opportunity, like it's an opportunity, you know, anyone could make this whatever they want it to be if they put in that hard work and get creative and think smarter. And so I love that quote, work like there is someone working 24 hours a day to take it away from you. It is a gift and a blessing. And I'm like telling myself, like, I don't need to be complaining that I have to work, you know, because I don't have to get up. I'm in my pajamas. I'm on the couch under my blankets. Like, I don't have to leave the house to go to work, you know, and I pray that I never have to do that. And maybe your goals are different and that's okay too. But for me, like, that is why I want to do this, because I love being home and I love like all the things that can bring for us. Okay, so lie number 8. I don't have what it takes to be a leader. Guys, I've said this one and I've literally even said it probably like a month ago. It's like, it's a big one that I struggle with. And probably that most people struggle with, especially because, you know, mostly I think we have like our little bubble that we probably are a leader with, like with maybe certain friends or in our job or with our kids. But when we like fathom thinking that we're a leader, you know, whatever your like idea of a leader is, like that can be a huge lie that we tell ourselves that, well, we could never be like that person, like Jessica Bowser Nelson. Okay. Like I've totally said that, felt that, allowed myself to believe that. And I'm trying to crush that now because that's going to hold you back. And you may be telling yourself that successful people have talents or a certain personality, or, you know, they had these certain experiences, or they have more money or access to things that you don't. Like there's so many of those things that we can say, and though they might be true, maybe not, but that's not true that is going to hold you back. Those are just excuses and lies that we're believing are the real reason. And what we're really telling ourselves that we don't realize is that we don't believe we have what it takes to lead, or that we don't deserve success. A lot of people also can believe that, like they don't dream big, you know. And I was the same way. Like I just thought, well, I don't need it, it's okay, you know. And but what I'm really telling myself is that, like, no, I don't believe I can get that far. And I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that I can get that far, that I can be a leader like Jessica Bowser Nelson or something like that. So leadership is just about influence. That's it. So leaders are agents of change. They add value to the people around them, and they make a positive impact, like in our coaching, in our challenge groups, on our team. That's it. And so if we can just learn to, and maybe you have nobody under you yet, but you can still remember this, and you can still start showing up like this in any of our team pages, Like I've been trying to practice that more. Just like when you have an idea or when you read something cool in your personal development, those kind of things, and then sharing it with everybody else, even if they're not in your own downline, that's adding value to them and making a positive impact within our organization who's already there. Excuse me. And so then as you have a team, you are just going to show your team how to build. Walk the walk and talk the talk. And there are some days that I'm like, I have to show up because I would expect my coaches to do these invites. Like I can't come on this call and say you need to invite every day if I'm not inviting every day, right? And I mean, obviously, like there's going to be days and we don't have to be perfect. But if I'm going to make this my job and treat it like a business, and you want to build a business, like I have to show up for my business so that you have an example to show up for yours. And that's it. That's leadership. So without even trying, you'll end up leading, and you're going to build confidence in yourself, believe you're worthy, and take actions to reach your goals. And that's what inspires others. So it doesn't have to be like some big, elaborate, magical thing. Just start showing up. And lie number 9 is I will make mistakes. This one isn't a lie. You will make mistakes, and that's part of the BS. Oh, but the part that is BS is that somehow you're telling yourself that you're not supposed to make mistakes to be successful. And that's just totally not true. Like mistakes are actually a good thing, because then we can learn from them and figure out what we need to do to move forward. So none of us are immune to failure. Even the top leaders are still going to make mistakes and still be learning, and we're always adjusting and trying new things, and maybe it fails, and that's okay. Then we try something else. So we can't learn how to do anything really well without making the mistakes. And then she gave a little tip. When you do mess up, instead of beating yourself up about it and wallowing in pity and being so mad, which, okay, maybe do that for like 5 minutes and then like let it go. But stop and think about what happened, why it happened, and what you can learn from it. Then let it go and be kind to yourself. And I probably should have like thought of an example there, but any little thing or big thing. And I am like a huge, not wording that right. I struggle a lot with like not necessarily wanting to be perfect, but I think just like I kind of have perfectionist in my personality. So I like feel like I have to always like be on top of it. And if I don't know something, you know, or I can't even think of a little example right now, but those kind of things I still like beat myself up so bad about. And like that has to stop, or that's just going to be limiting us even more. So just look at it as, okay, no big deal. I can learn from it. What happened? What did I do? How can I do it differently next time? Let it go, and don't be hard on yourself. And then it helps us avoid making the same mistake again. And then we get insight into how to be better and happier and more fulfilled, etc. There was something else I was going to say and I just forgot it. Okay. And then the final lie, this is going to be a shorter call. It's saturated where I live. This business just doesn't work in our town. I don't have buy one near me to help me. Oh, it must be nobody. I don't have anybody near me to help me. I don't know what I typed. That's all kind of one lie like strewn together. And it's funny because that's actually something that my dad, I can still hear him saying that whenever I told him. I was like, I think I'm going to sign up for Beachbody and be a coach. And he didn't even know what it was really, you know, but he's like, oh, hon, like those things are so saturated and eventually, you know, you blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it anyway. But I can still hear him saying that, but he just didn't understand and he didn't get it. And we've talked about this, but you just go find new people. Like, how many billions of people are on the earth? And we're not in all countries, of course. We're in UK and Canada and US and France. And so there are plenty of people to find, and especially on Instagram, you guys. I was just so against Instagram for so long, but I've met so many awesome people, like Ashley. We met on Instagram. But that is still just a lie that we're telling ourselves, that it's saturated. So find those new people, you know, and maybe in your process of following people, maybe you meet other Beachbody people, or you meet, you know, people that are in Australia. I meet people in like Australia all the time, and I'm like, man, we can't sell to you, but I still want to be your friend, but I don't want to waste my time. So sometimes it's just a process of weeding out to find the right people who are going to be part of your tribe. And that can be frustrating, but just have patience with it. But never say that you ran out of people, especially if you listened to that call, I don't know when, a month ago or whatever, about like new conversations and new followings and stuff like that. So if you have a tiny warm market, or like none of your family wants to sign up, or no one's being supportive, because really, I'm trying to think, like really none of my family signed up. Even my mom, it took quite a few months, like, and I had to talk to her for a long time before. So honestly, I didn't have like a quick like clan of people that were like willing to support me. Like, I still had to go out and talk to people right away. So it's still very possible to find people, and you just got to start talking to them. And then the other tip that I know I've mentioned this before is never discount anyone from joining. Even if you think like they wouldn't like this, or you don't think they have enough money, or like any of the things, or some people, you know, maybe they're injured, or they just had a baby, or blah, 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 blah. Never discount them, because this might be the perfect thing that they like desperately need at this season in their life. And you don't know that unless you ask them or invite them and share like what they're missing out on, basically. So let them be the judge if this is a good fit for them, and you just do your job of inviting and planting that seed, and just look at it that way. And then if they say no, okay, it's not the right time for whatever reason. Okay, when we make excuses like this, we're really just scared that we're not good enough or worthy of great success, which I said a minute ago too. So we just have to not listen to those lies. And I actually want to read, if you don't mind, I don't know if this is annoying to people. There's no way to paraphrase this whole page because it's just too good. So this is what I'm wrapping up with, actually, and then I'll be done. But I want to read this whole page because it was like the end of the chapter to like close all this out. The truth is, we each have everything within ourselves to succeed. But in this business, you have to have a few other really important things too, like hunger, the willingness to be completely coachable and learn how to do this. And I'll pause there. We did talk about being coachable, and that just means like, if your coach or another coach from another team or whatever, like if you really want to learn and you really want to change or make this happen, whatever, to be truly coachable, you're going to have to do what they say. Like, not what you think they say or not part of it or what you feel like doing from that, but what they say. And so if you're not doing all of it, and obviously, like, there's times where you're just learning, blah, blah, blah. But don't be in denial that, oh, I am doing everything. Be really honest with yourself first and see that. Okay, back to this. Now I lost my spot. Be completely coachable and learn how to do this. Consistency. And anyone can learn that. That is not a magic thing. It is hard, but it's simple. You just keep showing up. The willingness to be uncomfortable, and the resilience to keep going in the face of no's and disappointments. And I really liked that one, because again, it's just kind of like building this grit and this like toughness about ourselves that we're not going to let that stuff like cause us to sweat, you know, or whatever, to get mad. And it takes some time and it takes some practice. But you've got to build that resiliency of hearing the no and feeling disappointed and just keep going. Just keep going until you hear a yes. So it's so sad how many businesses fail before they're even started or blocked from becoming the huge success stories that they can be because of all the excuses we tell ourselves. How many times have you told yourself you can't do something that countless other people can? Every time you put out an excuse, you place another cement block in the walls you're building around yourself. With each excuse, you're trapping yourself in a prison of mediocrity of your own creation, condemning yourself to a life you really don't want. Being in that box may feel safe, but over time, what's going to be in there with you is a whole lot of regret, what ifs, shame, and loneliness. And I'm like, whoa, like that is so much truth. I might take a picture of this and post this in our group so you guys can read through it, because I think if I read this every day, I would be so fired up. Like, there's a little bit left. What I've learned, this is what she said, what I've learned working with thousands of people of all different backgrounds, skill sets, and personality types is that we can conquer the negative voices and recognize the BS for what it is, just a load of crap. We can pull the cement blocks down, let the light in, and increase our possibilities. We can get out of our own way and get on with the business of building our future and stepping into our greatness. Isn't that so good? Oh, I just love it. I'm going to take a picture of it and share it with you. So that is all I have. There's one chat. Oh, okay. And then